Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bezo, and this is the second installment of A Moment with My Thoughts. Today's topic is quite an emotional one, so I'd like to apologize to those that may be triggered by this conversation. As you know, today I will be talking about abuse, from family members, relationships, and all of that. So yeah, I really hope nobody's going to be feeling too sad after this conversation. I am a survivor of abuse, and I don't want to lie to you, I do not take God's favor for granted, because so many did not live to tell the tale, and here I am, and I'm able to share my story, and I hope to encourage others to speak up and to say no and to say enough is enough. I've been sexually, how do I put it, sexually assaulted, or I've been touched in the wrong way by people who should not have done that to me. I have been abused by an intimate partner in all aspects: financially abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, you name it, sexually abused as well. It was a very horrible time for me. I started being abused when I was about 8 years old. 8 years old, 9 years old. Yeah. No, not 9, because when I was 9, I was with my parents. When I was 8. And I just became a very stressed child. And I then started having my anxiety attacks and all of that. So my anxiety stemmed from being abused often, by a family member who was also a child. So the perpetrator was a child, and they were also abused by an adult. So all of that anger was taken out on me. And I didn't live with my parents. I didn't live with my mom. My mom was at first in college and then at work. So I would only see her during weekends, and I was staying with other family members. But it went on for a while. And then I felt like I was rescued when my parents took me to live with them. They found a house or actually built a house, and it was done, and then we moved in. And then I thought that my stress was gone, but my behavior became better, A few years down the line, I was touched in an inappropriate way by another family member. I will not go into details, but it then left me very scarred. I changed. I was always scared. I was not free anymore. When you feel trapped, I essentially felt like that. I was not free to be myself. I did not want to be with that person alone. But then when it stopped, I thought, okay, great, because I was in high school. So when all of that that the person did to make me feel uncomfortable stopped, and then I thought, I'm breathing, Few years down the line, somebody else then also wanted to touch me in an inappropriate way. And I was very angry. I was very, very angry because I was like, but why me? Why me? The relevant people were told, but my perpetrator really did not really receive any kind of punishment or consequences, life continued as normal. What I will say is these three people that I've just spoken about were all family members, right? Just want to put that out there. And then I then got into a relationship now with somebody else. And in that relationship, it was my first time ever experiencing abuse from an intimate partner. Of course, I was very young. I was 20 years old when the first incident happened. And by the first incident, I mean the physical incident, the verbal abuse started very early on in the relationship. I think within 2 months of the relationship, I was already getting threats and all of that, but I never took them seriously because I was like, oh, this is weird. I don't know that people do this. I mean, I know people do this, but I never thought it would happen to me. I never thought that I would be with somebody who would talk to me in a certain way, because I remember my high school boyfriend, they never spoke to me like that, In the high school, I started dating this guy in Matric, and he was such a calm person. So now here I am, I'm dating this person, and they are so violent with their words, threats and everything, and swearing at me, and I'm like, okay, right. So I really didn't take it into, I really did not absorb all of that until the first slap that I got from him. And I was taken aback. I could not believe what happened. Nothing made sense for me. It was all way too much, And then obviously we had the conversation about it, and it was oh, I'm sorry this happened, I won't do it again, blah, 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 A year later, I felt pregnant. A year later, maybe I think my son was about 8 months, and the abuse continued. This time I didn't just get a slap, I got kicks and punches and all of that in the presence of family members. And I pressed charges, and then I canceled the case. I went back to the police station and I was like, no guys, get all the case, Because again, I was in love and I thought, no, it's not going to happen again. We had this conversation. Then I think we experienced another 2 or 3. One of those being sexual abuse, intimate partner rape. It was so brutal for me. It was so brutal. I was numb. I was paralyzed. I did not understand how this person that I loved so much can go that far now with me, I remember getting slaps across my face, about 4. And then, I'm really not trying to laugh at this, but when you just yeah, I've been through it. The guy hit me, guys. He hit me. And then he had sex with me. And I'm really decorating it when I say he had sex with me, because that was not sex. I didn't want to. I had to leave. My mom was expecting me at home, and this person did not want me to go home until I slept with him. And I was like, but it really can't be like DP. You really can't be like that obsessed with having sex with me, because I don't know, it gives you some sort of power. I don't know. And he was yelling at the top of his lungs, and I was shivering. I'm crying because now this person tackled me and gave me 4 slaps across my face, and then there he is, still finding pleasure with my body while I'm shivering and I'm crying hysterically, And for me it was but how are you even finding pleasure while I'm in the state, There was a certain family member of his that I called immediately after it happened. And then I said, this is what he did to me. I just want you to know the kind of animal that I have to go and live with now. This is the kind of and live with. We do not live together, but this is the person that I'm in a relationship with. That night, he had the audacity to call me and tell me that he wants money from me. And of course, I gave it to him. I did. I was scared of this person because whenever I came up with a no, I was threatened, or I would get girls calling me and telling me about how they're doing certain things for him. I cannot tell you why I did not leave. I can't tell you because I'd be lying. I don't know why I did not leave. I was trapped in that relationship emotionally. The thing with abused victims is that we hardly ever talk, and we never leave the situation until it's like too late. The last incident happened with him wanting to burn me in my car, petrol and all. And I'd never been so scared. And that was the last incident that we had, with the physical abuse. And it was so scary because at some point in that particular incident, I thought to myself, okay, this is it. I'm not going home. I'm not going home. The next time my parents see me, it's going to be in a box. Or they're going to come to the mortuary and I don't know. Or you know what, they won't even identify me because I'm probably going to burn like beyond recognition here. So like I thought that, and it was a really tough time. It was so tough that when I look back, I think, but then why did certain things happen? It doesn't make sense to me. Did I show this person that it's okay to treat me like that? Possibly. I don't know, because the first time he did it, I stayed. I didn't say, yo, dude, juices. I took the apology, I accepted it, and I said, okay, cool. I thought I was fine. I remember just going to like five sessions with a psychologist that I found at the time. Didn't go to a lot. And then I was like, I'm done talking about this. I'm done talking about this man. So after I thought I was fine, life carried on, and years later, I exploded. All that anger came back. I was so mad at all my perpetrators. I could not look at any of them the same way. I was enraged. I had this hatred, that was like brewing inside of me. That my mom was like, "Dude, I can see you're not okay, and I can, you don't want to tell me what's bothering you. Please go see a psychologist." I looked up a psychologist. She's still my psychologist, the lady, and I went to her and I started seeing a psychologist, and she started helping me, deal with all those emotions until I was fine, until I was like, okay, cool, and I went to quite a few sessions with her, and then I felt like, okay, what I'm going to do now is work on forgiving. I have to silently forgive. There's nothing I can do, and that's what I did. I worked on the forgiveness, but I'm telling you, I am still working on the forgiveness, even now. Even now, I'm still working on the forgiveness, and I started seeing my psychologist, I think it was beginning 2020. No, actually, end of 2019, I started seeing my psychologist. I'm still working on the forgiveness, because what I didn't do is I didn't confront my perpetrators. So it becomes a lot difficult when you don't confront, because you look at them with that, you really think you did nothing wrong to me. You really don't think you damaged me to a certain point, So I decided that I'm going to work on forgiving without the confrontation step. But I will honestly say to you, I do not recommend that. I do not recommend not confronting your perpetrator. If any of you have encountered what I have, or worse, or similar, and you are dying with all those emotions inside of you, please talk. Please talk, because I'm telling you, living with anxiety and depression is not okay. It is not okay. It breaks you up piece by piece by piece. And you get to a point where you start acting out of character. You lose interest in the things that you're really, really passionate about. I mean, I wrote my book and I stopped. And I felt like it wasn't enough, even though it's something that I really love doing, because I would lose interest. I would lose interest in writing. Sometimes I would have like insomnia and I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep all night. I would sleep like at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It was that bad that when I started taking my anti-anxiety meds, I also got sleeping pills because I couldn't sleep without taking them. I would not be able to sleep. So training myself that hard to be able to sleep without my sleeping pills was a mission. And that's why I said in my previous video that I really had to learn who God is. I really had to lean on Him, because I'm telling you, if it was not for God, I would not be here. I wouldn't. I don't know how many suicide thoughts I had. I don't know. I had so many, but I never acted on them. And I think maybe I have my son to also thank for that. God actually placed my son in my life to save me, because had I not had my child, I wouldn't have had anything that I would have looked at and said, this is what I'm living for. This person deserves for me to still be alive. So it was very bad. So I really encourage that anybody that is going through this, please speak up. Please seek help. Please, when you can, confront your perpetrator, but don't rush into it also. Start seeking help so that you can be guided on how you can confront your perpetrator, because the thing with these kind of things is that when we keep quiet, we are encouraging the generational curses. What's happened to you may end up happening to your child when you don't stand up and say, listen, enough is enough. This is where it ends with me. This is where it ends with my bloodline. Because certain things is like a curse. It's like once it happens to you, it's going to keep happening on many occasions. You need to get to the point where you stand up and you're like, not anymore. Not with me. Not with my children. Not with my grandchildren. This ends now. And you have to get to that point. But the first step is dealing with that trauma and seeking help and getting your strength and your power back. Because when you live in all of that pain, the reality is that the person or the people keep the power over you. Whether you think you agree or not, that's the situation. And that's why working on the steps to forgive is not for the other person. It's for yourself. And remember, forgiving doesn't mean you have to maintain a relationship with that person. Forgiving is for yourself, so you can forgive and love from a distance. If it's an intimate partner, please forgive and let go. Forgive him or her, forget him or her, and keep it moving. And when it comes to children, please pay attention to your children. It's so easy, so easy to miss certain things, certain complaints, certain behaviors. Please pay attention to your children and encourage that space of that your children can talk to you about anything and everything. What I do with my son is, whenever I can remember to remind him, I remind him that, listen, Nana, here we talk about everything. Nothing is off limits. Nothing. And I make him understand that nothing is off limits, because I love him so much that I don't want to lose him to anything or to anyone, or because of anything or anyone, So he understands. And I tell him that, listen, whatever that you come to me and you tell me about, my first response will always to protect you if somebody has hurt you. And if you want to know about something, I'll explain it to you, without judgment or without yelling at you, without making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel like it is wrong to talk to me about certain things, you know. So please encourage that space in your families as well, that your children can come to you and talk to you guys about anything, because there are so many predators out there, so many predators, that even boy children are not safe. Girl children are not safe, boy children are not safe. And look and pay attention to your children's behaviors. Look at their moods. If your child is complaining about something, please take it seriously. If they say, listen, my arm is sore, and it's repeated, please pay attention to that. If your child is bedwetting, please pay attention to that. Why is my child bedwetting? There are certain ages that you expect that your child shouldn't be bedwetting. But if they are, please be aware and please do something about it, because you may find that your child is so stressed. Your child is so stressed that someone is hurting them, be it physically, or they are being bullied, or they're being sexually molested on a daily. So please pay attention to your children and encourage your children to speak up. And you as adults, if you guys have things that are on your chest, in your hearts, that you are struggling to deal with, please speak up. Because when you keep things to yourself and you do not speak, you cannot be a great parent to your children. And I'm telling you, you will not be a good partner. You will not. All of that anger, all of that rage, all of that confusion, all of that hurt, you are going to take out on your partner. You are going to take out on your partner. And they're going to suffer. And if you're a man, you're going to beat up your wife. All those emotions are going to be too heavy for you, because now you have this whole other human being that has expectations and that wants certain things to happen in a certain way. You are going to end up being an abusive partner to your wife or to your girlfriend, because you have all this anger that you're not dealing with. And here is this person who doesn't even know what you are dealing with secretly, So please get help. This whole indoor daikali, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Please cry. Please find a safe space for you to cry and get help, so that you can be better, so that one day you can teach your children differently. You can teach your children to be better. You can teach your girl children what not to allow. If you get into a marriage having not dealt with your emotional demons and your mental demons, your wife and your children are going to suffer, or your husband and your children are going to suffer, because you're going to put those people in misery. And how your children are going to suffer may be that whatever they see you doing to their other parent is what they then think is right. So if you're a woman and you now start abusing your husband verbally, because you have all this anger that's just coming out in your relationship, and your children witness that, they start feeling like, or thinking that is how a woman can talk to a man, or that's the way to communicate in a relationship with your partner. So when they then experience that when they're older with their partners, they think it's normal. They don't see it as abuse, because why? Mama and Papa did it. And if you're a man and you abuse your girlfriend or your wife, and their child is looking and busy punching and kicking her and all of that in front of the child, be it private or in front of the child, and your child grows up with that thing and thinks this is okay. So your girl child then gets into a relationship and somebody beats her, and what? It's okay, because that is what they experienced. Please be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Stepping up and taking care of those wounds that are so brutal and so painful is part of loving yourself and saying, this ends with me and it's not going to go any further. Generational curses are horrible because you don't want to be in a family that has too many perpetrators and too many predators. These people preying on young girls and boys. You don't want to be in a family like that. So please step up and say no. And say that this ends here because it cannot move forward any longer. You cannot have 5 generations of abuse of any kind, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's physical abuse or sexual abuse. It has to stop. And the only way it can stop is when family members stand up and say, it ends here. And perpetrators are dealt with. This whole thing of black families that protect the perpetrators and say, no, but it's family, or no, but it's a family friend, or it's a friend, or this, it has to stop. Because when it doesn't, more and more children are going to get hurt. And when children are hurt, what adults do not realize is that those children become young abusers as well. They become the abused and the abuser. They become both victim and perpetrator, because then they go and do those things to other children, thinking that it's okay. Because here's this adult that's doing me like this. Surely it can't be that bad. If I go and do it to my friend, or if I go do it to my cousin, or if I go do it to my brother or my sister. So please stand up. Not only for yourselves, but for your children and your future grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, that it must stop. It needs to stop now. If you don't know where to get help, please tell me. Right there in the comment sections. I don't know. Tell me, and I will dedicate my time to helping you find help. You cannot be the best version of yourself when your heart is constantly breaking. You become isolated, withdrawn. You have no interest of doing anything. And I will tell you with myself, even waking up was not something I wanted to do. Because you go to sleep with a heavy heart. You wake up with a heavy heart. You have no energy to do anything. Even just for you to look pretty and I want to take a shower and look pretty. You don't have that. You don't have the energy for that. So again, I say, and I encourage this so hardly, please, so hard, please get help. Please speak up. And in time, when you feel ready, please confront your perpetrator. It's not easy, because I myself, I lived many years without doing that. I still have not. But I plan to. I plan to somehow. So, please, let's protect our children. And let's just, I don't know, guys, let's pray. Let's pray for that strength and courage to be better. And to be better people. To be better sisters and parents and brothers and children and, partners and wives and husbands. Let's do better. Let's be considerate of each other. Let's love each other so much. For me, a woman or a man that does certain things to hurt children or other women or other men, for me, it says a lot about you. it really says a lot about you. You know, even if what you're doing is just verbal abuse, because you know, verbal abuse is like so, it's not taken seriously. You know, it's so frowned upon. Like, ugh, really, that's all he said, or that's all she said. You know, it's not right. We have to teach ourselves to speak kindly to one another, to be considerate of one another. When, as a human being, you do not know everything, and there's no way you can go around treating people that think differently from you like they're crazy, and then they're not serious people just because their opinions differ from yours, you know. So please, let's be kind to one another. We all have things that are weighing heavily on our hearts, you know, like with releasing ourselves from all that pain, you know, and freeing ourselves from that imprisonment. We also, as a community, have to be very kind to one another. Speak kindly to each other, care for each other. You know, be your brother's keeper, be your sister's keeper at all times. Don't laugh at somebody else's downfalls and all of that, you know. So yeah, I really hope that you guys get help. And like I said, if any of you would love to know the channels to take, please do contact me. Please do say something there by the comment sections, and I will help. I will help you get help. You know, the same way I'm helping myself get help. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope and pray that God is with you guys all the time, and you guys will be good. And yeah, man, God bless you all. See you guys next time.